Hello everyone, and welcome back to the woods at Lone Pine Tarot. I hope you're having a beautiful day or night wherever you are. For today's Pick a Card reading, I was inspired by the feeling of wandering through a winding forest road. Sometimes we're so focused on the next step ahead that we don't realize how close we are to reaching something we've been hoping and perhaps even praying for. The destination may still be hidden from view, but that doesn't mean it isn't just right around the corner. So today we're asking the cards just that. What are you closer to than you realize? To choose piles today, we'll be using the Three of Wands from different decks, as it's the quintessential tarot card of anticipation. So let's discover which of the Three of Wands today calls to you most. Over here on the left for pile 1, you have the Three of Wands, or Sticks, as this particular deck calls it, from the Tarot for the Great Outdoors. In the middle for pile 2, you have the Three of Wands from the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. And on the right for pile 3, you have the Three of Wands from the Ostara Tarot. Pause here if you'd like a little more time to decide, but when you're ready, your timestamp is waiting in the description below. I'll see you in your reading. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading on What Are You Closer to Than You Think? And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Tarot for the Great Outdoors as your deck today. So let's begin with the mini tarot as we usually do. To first ask Spirit, what general area of your life is this thing you're closer to, related to, I guess is the best way to put it. So, calling on Spirit for your highest, best good, with the best intentions in mind for pile 1. Spirit, can you tell me, what is this related to that you want to discuss with them today? Thank you. Okay, first one that caught my eye, we have the Ten of Swords reversed. Okay, bit of an intense card to come out right away, but being reversed, it's actually positive, so hear me out. Second card we have the Knight of Wands. Lots of action, forward momentum here. Fiery energy, being one of the wand suit cards. Third card today is more wands, and another 10 too. Kind of a common theme here numerology wise, because you also have the 10 of swords. Tends to represent the completion of cycles, which is very similar to kind of what I'll say later about the 10 of swords reversed. And the 10 of wands is, I think, a little bit of a nudge as to what cycle is coming to an end. But let's see what the fourth card is before I say for sure. This one wanted to come out a lot with it, quite prominently you can see, so I will take that one. Then we have the Ace of Cups reversed. Cute otter. Yes, okay, so what I'm hearing, pile 1, is the first two cards are a little bit more about the what, or the how, I guess, and the last two cards here are more about the, like, what was leading up to this. Okay, so the Ten of Wands, I'll start with that one over here, is a card of burdens, usually. It is the card of there has been something very heavy weighing upon me, something that is backbreaking, either literally or metaphorically speaking, and it's something that most of the time we just want to put down, okay? And the Ace of Cups reversed gives a little bit of a twist to it in that it's something related to a burden that you've been bearing where you feel as if you have not been finding good purchase with, say, a new relationship. That's a very common meaning of the Ace of Cups, being aces are new energy in tarot. Cups tend to be about relationships, feelings, etc., things like that. And, or it can be like a lack of blessings, like a really long extended period of time where things have felt like that burden and there really hasn't been a refreshing blessing in sight, almost like if you look at the traditional Ace of Cups, it's literally a cup that is flowing over like a fountain almost, and there's like a dove flying right above it. So a lack of peace, a lack of the blessings, as I said, too. Just a kind of a grueling period of time of life that you've been going through recently. Okay. The beauty of it is, as I said, with the two tens having come out, as I said before, is the end of a cycle. Something finally coming to its zenith and coming to a close, especially because of the Ten of Swords reversed. Now, upright Ten of Swords usually means like, oh man, we're at the absolute lowest. This is the darkest night of the soul that we've gone through with this whole grueling period of life. But reversed, that Ten of Swords is, okay, we're past the nighttime of this experience or this character arc. I'll use kind of a writing term there. that you've been going through, and now we're seeing the dawn again. It's the light after that period of struggle. And I do see, because of that Knight of Wands, action is going to come forward. Things are going to move a little bit faster than they have. Maybe part of this grueling experience for you in the recent past has been something just happening so slowly, which I'm happy to report. The Knight of Wands, although I see the Knight of Swords as like the absolute fastest knight in tarot in terms of things occurring speed-wise, but the Knight of Wands is also quite fast. Sometimes people even interpret that as the fastest knight in tarot. So tends to also mean action towards like something that we're passionate about, or our creativity, or our willpower, or something we're trying to manifest or create. So any area of your life recently where you feel like it's been a big burden, it's been a big slog, feels like you've been walking through a desert with no drink in sight, no oasis, etc. Speaking of water with the Ace of Cups, the thing that you're closer to than you realize is it's coming to an end, the dawn is soon, and things are going to pick up again. But of course, let's see some more details in general. Let's grab your oracle cards to start the next part of the reading. Spirit, what else do you want to talk to pile 1 about with this? Thank you. What else is closer to them than they realize? Well, that one's quite prominent. It's like pick me, so we're going to choose that one. We have the element of air with the scholar, investigation, and research. For a lot of you, possibly it could resonate with a situation regarding being a student, being a teacher, schooling in general, university/college, things like that. Or even if it's not like an official organized level of being a scholar, pile 1, it can also mean that this is related to something you've had to do a lot of research on. You've had to investigate a lot, you know, either in the way of like a detective or in the way of literally like a scholar, nose to the grindstone, or maybe books, I should say, especially with investigation or research. Or I guess in modern day, they'd be more like nose to the Google grindstone. I don't know, but you've been researching something a lot. You've been trying to figure something out a lot of measurement, a lot of, what's the old saying? I'm hearing this for some reason. Measure twice, cut once. There's something I think you want to be very precise about in terms of overcoming this hump, so to speak. This burden that you've been trying to let go of. Let's see what your Woodland Warden's Oracle says today as well. Okay, this card also quite prominently wanted to come out. We have, ooh, look at that. The Lizard and the Pitcher Plant. And very fittingly, you have stagnation here, pile 1. That's just a synchronicity or a reconfirmation to me from Spirit that I was, because remember before I kind of described it as a slog, things have been kind of slow. That's exactly kind of what we're talking about. The 10 of Wands, that burden, things have been really like, oh man, it's just dragging heels. Things aren't coming. It feels like as if you have not found this drink or oasis in the desert that you've been looking for. And then boom, here comes the Lizard and Pitcher Plant with stagnation. Things are not growing. It's kind of like, I wonder if you almost feel trapped too, because that's how pitcher plants work, pile 1, if you're not familiar. Pitcher plants are carnivorous plants, kind of like the Venus flytrap, to my understanding, where they're plants that they lure something in, like a fly, and I think it tends to be like some sort of, I don't know, it depends on the carnivorous plant. It can be different kinds of scents, but either like rotten or sweet. And then so the fly falls in, and then the pitcher plant closes, or Venus flytrap closes if we're talking about that. And then it gets like stuck there. So that's why I'm saying that I feel like you feel as if you're stuck, or maybe you like literally kind of got trapped in something. Could be like a job that it's not meeting your expectations, or workplace, etc. Or it could also be, relationship that's not meeting your expectations. You do have an abundance of both fire and air elements so far in this reading. So that would mean to me as a tarot reader that this is most likely for most of you some sort of entrapment or burden regarding either something that you've been trying to be ambitious about, like I said, creating something with wands, and then the air energy is once again like university scholarly energy, or something that you've had to be really smart or organized about too. That's kind of the general areas of life I'm seeing, elementally speaking. But we'll look at your main tarot spread as well with your tarot deck that you chose, Tarot for the Great Outdoors. Let's see what else Spirit has to say. Spirit, any more details about this situation and the slog they've been going through, and then also with that energy of the 10 of Swords reversed and the Knight of Wands, where is it going, and how does it come about that they get out of this slog, this just around the bend feeling? Thank you. I kind of see it like a timeline here, pile 1. Okay, for sure. We have this one. Look at that. You got the Ace of, well, Vessels in this deck, but Ace of Cups reversed again. So twice. Definitely been feeling like a lack of blessings, a lack of new energy when it comes to your emotions. If it's a relationship, especially that you've been feeling stagnant or kind of stuck in, same thing. Very, very prominent with Cups energies. And yeah, literally, I was telling you about, like, it feels like you don't even have a drink of water in that desert, and look what popped out with this Ace of Cups. It's literally like a drink of water someone would carry with them on, say, a hike. So nothing refreshing, just a desert. And it's almost like I see you walking along pile 1 looking for silver linings, and it feels like you just have not been able to actually find a silver lining with this situation, hence why you feel so stuck. And then, yes, we have the 6 of Pentacles or Stones reversed in the recent past position, also influencing the entire energy of the reading. And so I think another aspect of this entrapment feeling and stagnation, feeling like it's kind of a burden, is that things have not been fair to you. That's the main keyword I use with the 6 of Pentacles reversed, is unfairness, or a lack of fairness, maybe I should say, where things have not been balanced, things have not been equally distributed, especially when it comes to like career or resources or like money related things, because Pentacles or Stones cards tends to relate to that area of life when it comes out in a tarot reading. Okay, so I don't know, maybe not being treated the most fairly here. Things have been out of balance. It could also be out of balance in terms of resources, not just say in like the way pay might be, although of course we think of money a lot with Pentacles cards. It might be unequal distribution of resources in terms of, like, say it's a job where you just have had too much put on your plate, or responsibility where too much has been put on your plate, hence the burden of the 10 of Wands as well. So you can kind of see it that way too. Let's see. Then in the middle, we have the Hanged Man. Okay, things are flipping around, so we already kind of knew that because that's like the title of the reading, right? But the Hanged Man can also mean different perspectives. It can mean kind of going it's kind of like the Hermit a little bit, like going off on our own, but mostly in a mental way, not in a physical way. It's like things flipping on their head, things turning around, as I said. It's suspension sometimes too. So that can also reflect that stagnation we were talking about. But I think you're just on the precipice, pile 1, this being the present moment card, of things finally turning around. Which I guess is inherent in the title of the reading, I know, but I think your perspective on the situation might flip. We'll look at your near future and the outcome cards to see for sure, because that'll tell us kind of how this comes about and where it's going. But okay, we have the 3 of Swords reversed in the near future, which is a great card to get. It means the pain will be overcome. And I always find this particular incarnation of the 3 of Swords interesting, because typically the 3 of Swords means pain. That's like the main interpretation for most traditional tarot decks of the 3 of Swords. It's pain, it's heartbreak, hardship when it comes to, especially the mind, because it's an air-related card being swords. And though what I find interesting with this incarnation of the deck and the 3 of Swords in it is that it's people having fun on a trail. Like, it's literally just 3 of them going along, skiing, and smiling. So this, kind of in a roundabout way, is what I mean to get to, is I think part of how you overcome this is due to the help of other people. Okay? I think they might realize that you have been, like, lagging behind, not of your own fault, pile 1, because you've just had so much burden on your back. Because you kind of see here in the foreground, there's like the 2 women who are like way in the front, and there's one person that's far back. Like, she's having a hard time keeping up. And I think finally, for a while, people might have been quite distracted, like they just weren't noticing. And I think that's part of the energy too of the Hangman, of like, okay, we're flipping perspectives here. Like, people are finally noticing something because they finally turn around and they're like, oh, well, wait a minute, like, we did not notice that that was actually a problem. And then finally they look back and they're realizing, oh God, pile 1 is lagging in this way, what happened? And then that's where this energy of the ending of the pain or hardship comes, with the 3 of Swords having been reversed in the near future. But of course, let's look at the final card. We'll see outcome/advice. We have wonderful, right after the 3 of Swords or Blades, we have the 4 of Swords/Blades. And that, my friends, is rest. We're at rest. We literally have people that are done skiing now, and they've taken a break right next to the fire. They have their thermos, they have their hot chocolate or coffee, whatever that might be. Both sound kind of good right now, don't they? And traditionally, yes, the Four of Swords is a card of rest. So I'll see, though, more about how they kind of notice and figure out that you need some help. Because it's quite a straightforward reading in terms of, yes, like, the cavalry is coming, you're going to get some help, things are going to calm down, you'll finally have that rest. And then, of course, too, the Knight of Wands there with the dolphin is, like, as I said, that things, like, moving faster finally. It's not so much of a slog. So I'm going to just grab some clarifiers on both those questions. Number one, how do they notice? Spirit, how do they notice Pile 1's burden? Like, why? I almost kind of wonder why they didn't notice in the first place, Pile 1. We have the Nine of Swords. Okay, so some anxiety. They might realize that you've been kind of anxious lately. Maybe you're typically more of a calm person, Pile 1, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. Why is Pile 1 freaking out? And then we have the Queen of Wands. Okay, so that can be a person as a court card, Pile 1. I almost wonder, too, if maybe that's what the Knight of Wands earlier was a person influencing the situation. And a Queen of Wands, though, tends to be feminine energy. So someone of feminine and also probably a fire sign energy. That or their feminine energy, and they're someone who's very radiant, they're confident, they're charismatic, they tend to be passionate and like ambitious, maybe even creative too. So I think that's the main person that notices the problem that you're having. Like, you can even see here with, I believe that might be a chinchilla. Feel free to correct me in the comments if you know that's not a chinchilla, but it looks like a chinchilla to me, something like that. The animal is like looking off to the left towards the centipede and is like, oh, well, wait a minute. This anxiety has been going along all the time, and you might not wanted to have like admitted it, Pile 1, because you're like, oh man, well, I want to be tough, I want to be a team player, I want to feel as if like, oh, I can handle this, I don't need any help. But I think finally they notice this pain that you've been having, and they're like, okay, wait a minute, maybe that's something we need to pay attention to and flip our perspective on, hence the Hangman, and finally help you out with. So really, the kind of, to summarize, the thing that you're not expecting right around the corner is someone noticing that you're having a problem and actually extending a hand out to help you. Okay, and then I also just want to ask too, like, what is the nature of the rest here with the Four of Swords? So Spirit, could you tell me that? What's the nature of the rest? Like, what cavalry is coming, metaphorically speaking? What's helping? I mean, and maybe that's where the scholarly energy comes in with the scholar card over here, Pile 1. It's like you've tried to research on how to do it on your own, but it's just been so difficult. We have, okay, justice. Okay, things become fair again. Remember, because before we had the Six of Pentacles reversed as your second card with the little, look like a mud puppy in the water. Things become fair again when they were unfair before with that Six of Pentacles reversed, okay? Part of the rest is finally them noticing, there's a bit of an injustice here, we need to fix this, okay? And then we have, look at that, it's the pitcher plant again. I swear to God, you have a pitcher plant in 2 cards here. Remember the lizard and pitcher plant card? Now you have it in the devil too, which is like I was saying before, that feeling of being trapped. It's about being like stuck somewhere. So they're helping you come to rest because they're bringing justice to a situation where you feel trapped or ensnared or stuck. Okay. They notice, and I find it funny that it's the owl too, because owls are always symbols of creatures that see very well. They're very wise. It's the traditional kind of stereotypical interpretation of the owl, but they're also associated with seeing things clearly because they are like night hunters. They can see very well and hear very well at night too. So someone finally gets that perception switch and is like, okay, there's a trap here. Something's a little bit not as stable or not as free or easy as we thought it was. And I'm hearing this from Spirit too, Pile 1. If you are offered help here, which I think you will be based on these cards, you might have that stubborn independent streak to say no, because you still might have that idea of, I can handle this. I don't want to look weak. But Spirit is saying that it is okay to ask for help. Okay. It's okay to let people see you struggling in terms of whatever this burden has been, because that's the exact mechanism that will bring that Ten of Swords reversed energy around to help you break the cycle of the pain that you have been going through, okay? The only way that you can get out of this trap, pile one, is if you let somebody notice your anxiety, specifically, remember that Queen of Wands energy, so that feminine fire sign, or, you know, charismatic, confident, kind of radiant person. They're the ones that are going to notice and help you. And you might find that there's a lot more support than you expected. Maybe you thought, oh, there's no way these people will care enough, or, you know, they'll just tell me to handle it, you know, rub some dirt in it, right? But I think they're going to offer you a lot more than you're expecting, especially because of the way that the Four of Swords is represented, with the people literally like sharing coffee and or like hot chocolate. Like, hey, wait a minute, let's take a break. Let's take a breath. What do you need? Okay, so just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and you'll find that your burden is relieved a lot faster and you'll feel a lot less trapped. Okay? So, there you go. That was your reading today on what you're closer to than you realize, something just beyond the bend. I hope the reading, well, resonated, number one, and that you feel helped in some way, but also that you liked it, of course, too. If so, please like the video, comment, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and thank you so very much if you choose to do any one of those three things today at the end. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile one, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hi there, pile number two. Welcome to your reading on what you're closer to than you realize. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Three of Wands from the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. We see someone reaching out, almost yearning for something. So I wonder if you might have been drawn to this pile leader because you're hoping that this thing that's unexpected was something that you've been reaching for today, just like the figure in the card here. But let's delve into that. We're actually going to draw from the mini tarot deck first, just to ask Spirit, what are the general areas of life, or like what's the context that this thing that is unexpected stems from? So, Spirit, just like we just mentioned, for the highest best good of pile two, could you tell us a little bit more about what is this related to that they're not expecting? What are they closer to than they're expecting? Thank you. Okay, first off, feeling drawn to this one, we have the Page of Swords reversed. That one really depends on the context of the next card beside it, so let's draw that one. Then we have the King of Wands reversed. Lots of court cards involved. Could mean a situation with people, as often the court cards represent others. Then we have the Fool reversed. Something that you feel is a risk or feels risky in some way. Perhaps a new project. That's oftentimes what the Fool is about. And then we have the Four of Wands reversed. Yes, so you feel as if something is not stable. I wonder if you're actually worried about something, pile two, and if the thing that you've been hoping or praying for is related to alleviating that worry. I say that because the Fool reversed is, we're just on the cusp of starting something new, or we've been planning to start something new. It's often the card of new beginnings, new journeys, etc. But when it's reversed, it's warning us against too much of new adventure, youthful optimism. Be aware of the risks in your path. And I think you already are, pile two. I think that's why that came up next to the Four of Wands reversed, because the Four of Wands reversed is often about, we feel like something's not so stable. It's kind of on shaky ground, especially in regards to things that we are wanting to celebrate eventually, or like things regarding the home. It's one of those tarot cards that has mustered a lot of different interpretations over time. But in general, if you read it just with the numerology, it's about feeling a lack of stability with something that we're passionate about or that we're trying to create, hence the Wands fire energy. Now, as I said with the two first cards that came out, the two court cards, we have the Page of Swords reversed and the King of Wands reversed. Can mean people, as I mentioned before. So Page of Swords reversed can mean someone in the situation that is youthful, either literally or kind of comes off as immature in a way, or young in a way, I should say. And they might be an air sign, hence swords, or in general, there's someone who acts very, not very like logically, with the way that they're trying to go about something. They might not be very organized. They might be a little like, flitting around, kind of like, I imagine for some reason a hummingbird kind of just flitting around, buzzing around to different flowers really quick. Like they kind of just keep getting distracted in some way. And then the King of Wands reversed is someone in a situation, tends to be masculine energy, tends to usually come off as more mature, like older, but also fire sign. And even if it doesn't match those precise meanings, it can mean in general someone that has been acting maybe a little bit with a hot temper, maybe a little bit impulsive with the way that they're trying to manifest something that they're trying to create, okay? Or in general, if you're not recognizing that there are other people really involved in this situation with this risk or this lack of stability that you're kind of fearing, it can mean in general that part of why you fear the risk or part of why you fear a lack of stability is because, number one, lack of confidence. That's usually the internal energy of a King of Wands reversed read here. And then the internal energy of the Page of Swords reversed would be, not just the lack of confidence with the King of Wands, but then also a feeling as if I don't have enough planned for this. I feel like this is very spontaneous or of the moment in terms of I was not able to actually organize and structure a plan ahead of time. Okay, so maybe something was kind of sprung on you very suddenly, and that's why you're feeling like, I'm not confident, this is a risk, I feel no stability. Okay, so it's something related to that area of your life. That's what Spirit is saying with these 4 cards. Let's grab your Oracle cards next, though, just to see a little bit more context and maybe where this is going, maybe what the whole twist is here with, the thing that's closer than you realize, as the title says. So, Spirit, tell me a little bit more about the twist in this thing they're worried about. Where is it going? Maybe some context, too. We have, the Coyote and Datura, or Moonflower, sometimes it's known as. And the coyote is traditionally, at least in Native American belief and folklore, a creature of trickery, hence why we have deceit. So, something deceitful, just like the moonflower associated with the moon, is something that only pops out at night in the dark, just like morning glories only come out in the morning, okay? So, something feels deceptive. I wonder if someone tried to pull something quick on you. Maybe that's why you felt so unprepared, Pile, too. It was as if, like, everything was going along fine, and then all of a sudden, someone pulled, maybe that's the Page of Swords reversed energy, like, hence why they were kind of that youthful, unprepared, immature energy, too, if it is someone else in the situation. They pulled a fast one. They were like, oh, by the way, I need help with this, or, oh, by the way, I need this, or, like, it just, I see it almost as, Spirit is showing me as it comes up as, like, just, I don't know, like a drive-by kind of collision. Like you just were not expecting it. You're going one way and then all of a sudden, boom, perpendicular to you, it hits you and you're like, okay, now I have to deal with this and how the heck am I going to, because it's quite a risk. That's why you're worried here. Okay, let's look at your Citadel Oracle too. Spirit, what do you want to say else about the situation? And where it might be going here as well. Okay, we have the Brawler with the element of water. Lex Talunius. You're not Telunius, I can't talk today. Talionis, there we go. Lex Talionis with the element of water, as I said, the Brawler, lack of empathy or confrontation. Okay, yeah, I think a lot of you, this is related to another person. Hence all those court cards at the beginning. Maybe it led to a fight. A brawl of some sort, even if not literally throwing punches, right? Somebody has not been very empathetic to the way that this has been pulled on you or how quickly it was thrown and thrust upon you. And that maybe is what is feeding a lot of your anxiety about this pile too, is you're like, oh my god, not only did they spring this on me or this thing got thrust upon me out of nowhere, but on top of that, it's like nobody's empathizing with my situation, is at least what I'm kind of hearing internally from the situation for you. And as I said, with confrontation, it might have even led to a fight of some sort. King of Wands reverse energy can sometimes mean like tempers flaring. So maybe a verbal spat in some way as well. And then, too, I'm kind of drawn to the way that, I don't know if these are technically roses. They almost look more like peonies to me, but they do have thorns, which, of course, peonies don't have, but roses do traditionally. And so I kind of think of that song. I can't remember who it's by off the top of my tongue. I'll try to link it down below next to your pile. You'll see like the YouTube link to the song, but it's Every Rose Has a Thorn. Or has its own thorn, I guess, is kind of the, I don't know. I'll find it. I'll link it down below so you can listen to it. It might be something relevant for synchronicity or symbolism purposes to your situation, but maybe they sold it to you as something a lot better than it really was. Hence, every rose has a thorn, and then you plucked it, and then all of a sudden, boom, there comes the thorn. You're like, well, was not looking for that. Did not expect the thorn. Okay, so we'll see more about where this is going, though, because we've had a lot of cards about the problem up until this point. Okay, Spirit, tell me more. What's unexpected? What's closer than they realize with this? Hopefully a fix. I think it might be a fix of some sort, but we have, first up to bat, the Four of Wheels, or Pentacles, as it's known in most decks. Could have been they were reserving some energy, reserving resources from you, holding something back from you. Yeah, that's like the deceitful energy, especially this is like the inciting incident card. Like, we're still kind of in the what situation of the reading, but still. They might have been greedy in some way too. That might have been why they were holding back. And then we have the Four of Swords, which is a card of rest. Lots of fours in this reading as well. We have not just that Four of Wands, as you recall here, but now 2 4 of the other suits, which once again brings up to mind numerology wise a lot about stability. Okay, something really shook foundations here. The Four of Swords, rest. They might have been a bit lazy in not telling you to, or you kind of might have been like, well, why did you not tell me this earlier? Oh, because they were laid back. Didn't affect them, so like, whatever. Or maybe it affected them, but they didn't care, but they also didn't take into account how it affected you too, pile two. So, okay. Then we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. Okay, now we're at the point of what's the unexpected part. What's closer than you realize. I apologize, it kind of took a while to get there because there was a lot of cards about the context behind the situation, and now finally we're at some of the progress. And the beautiful thing, pile two, is that it's right here in the present moment. And the Five of Pentacles reversed is a card of overcoming hardship, especially when it's related to finances and career, being that earth energy with pentacles. Okay, so unexpectedly, right around the corner, you're going to recover from this hardship, especially in those areas. Okay, we'll of course get some more context here with the near future and the outcome card and the advice cards in general. We have the Seven of Pentacles reversed. I might draw a clarifier on that, and then we'll see what the final card is to also give some more context. We have the Queen of Cups. Something you know in your heart to be true. Okay. Let's get those clarifiers going here. Okay, Spirit, can you tell me a little bit more about... Actually, let me draw a clarifier for each of the last 3 cards. Spirit, could you clarify the last 3? Thank you. 1 each. So the Five of Pentacles reversed, clarified by the Ten of Cups reversed. Okay, so there's kind of a but asterisk here, okay, with the Five of Pentacles reversed. Might not necessarily be a bad thing, though, because I don't know if you even like this person anymore, pile two. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, because, I mean, based on everything that's happened so far, it's like, oh my god, what did they just spring on you? What's this drive-by T-bone hit? Oh my god. I'll say this. I think to overcome the hardship, it might require breaking off the relationship in some way. Because the Ten of Cups reversed can mean, you know, breaking off, bringing to an end a relationship, bringing to the end like a cycle of a relationship in some way, because typically reversed it would mean we did not meet the happily ever after that we were expecting. Okay, but let's keep going with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, clarified. The Ace of Wands. Okay, so new energy, finding new spark in something, not being so burnt out or upset anymore. I wonder if you'll be able to let go of this burden, pile too. Because the Seven of Pentacles reversed is often a card of, like, we planted something, we tried to get something started. Maybe this is kind of the thing that was sprung upon you, and so you're trying to get this going, or like they were, and then they just dumped it on you, right? But when it's reversed, is usually the card of, like, we're having some struggles actually getting those seeds or that new thing to start. But then we have the Ace of Wands. And typically I would see that as, okay, it's going to get off to a great start. But I'm hearing intuitively, specifically for you, pile two, that this is more of an Ace of Wands. Spirit is saying of having success and starting something different that comes along that is more successful than this burden or this new thing that got sprung on you. Okay, let's keep going. We'll see what the Queen of Cups is clarified by, but then we have, okay, the Sun reversed, which can mean unhappiness, which can mean lack of truth, but let me tap in on this one. That one's kind of a lot of curveballs with this reading. So we have, okay, Queen of Cups can be a person, right? Let me do one more clarifier on that. Spirit, I'm sorry. I ain't getting it. What's the Sun reversed with the Queen of Cups? One more, please. Thank you. The King of Swords reversed. Okay, lots of court cards, lots of people involved. Actually, some of you, this might have been even more than one person fighting with you or having a confrontation or problem. Might be kind of like a too many cooks in the kitchen sort of situation as well, like too many people just getting involved and messing things up. I'm going to say this. I don't typically interpret this way, but I'm feeling a strong pull to, so that's what I'm going to do, because I always follow my intuition, pile 2. And what I'm hearing is that, typically I wouldn't see the Queen of Cups as an independent figure, but she's holding her cup and like things like close to her heart. If you can kind of see that, we'll pop her out of her little tarot jail here. She's holding something like close to her heart, and she is, literally like the Queen of Hearts, technically, in terms of her elemental association with water. I think it's that for some reason, even if you're not expecting it yet, hence, the meaning of the reading, there's the break off in the relationship, the break off in being separated from this person or these people or this thing that's going on, which helps you recover from the hardship financially because of that 5 of Pentacles. And then it's like you don't have to do that project or that thing anymore. You can do something new, hence the Ace of Wands. And then you are someone who does something different that's like close to your heart. That's like the feeling of that Queen of Cups being, like I said, like close to your heart, something you kind of keep close to your chest. So that actually might be some advice here too, pile 2. Where, yes, the unexpected thing is that you're going to be given an opportunity to do something different than this thing that was thrust upon you, that's this risk. But if there is any advice, they're telling you that whatever you do, when that opportunity presents itself, is to keep it close to your chest. Oh, and I wonder, that's why. That's why the Sun reversed and the King of Swords came out reversed too. Okay, it finally clicked. Keep it close to your chest, because the Sun reversed is usually about like not shedding light on something, like, okay, I'm going to hide this. I wonder if that's also why Deceit came here earlier with the Coyote and the Datura, because it's not just like something was sprung on you in a deceitful way, pile 2, but you might be given some advice here to kind of keep things a little bit in the shadows. Not, of course, to be mean or manipulative, that, but especially because of the Sun reversed coming out, I'm like, okay, this is something they don't want you to shed light on at the end here. And then the King of Swords reversed, which normally would be, kind of a negative card in terms of like someone who's like a liar or whatever. I see that as advice too, next to the Sun reversed, as don't verbally like manifest or speak out this thing that you do instead. As your final question, I'm going to ask, why though? Why are you being told to keep it under wraps? So let's see where that's going. Spirit, why are you telling them to keep it under wraps? I mean, besides maybe the karma of them, the other people or person in the first place not telling you something, springing it on you. Why are you telling them to keep it close? Okay, Ace of Swords reversed, and the Moon, illusions. Something not being what it seems. And the Ace of Swords reversed tends to mean coming off as like you don't have an idea about something, like you're like, I don't know. I have no clue. And then the 7 of Swords, being sneaky. Well, they're just kind of reiterating here, pile 2, like, just be sneaky. Like, if that's anything, like, besides a flashing neon sign, just to be quiet about whatever new direction you go in here when the opportunity presents itself to you, like, you literally got, like, every card in the deck about, literally, like, Spirit is putting a finger to your mouth going, shh, don't say a word, pile 2. Be very quiet. Don't give them any ideas. That's also another meaning of the Ace of Swords reverse, is not to give ideas. And the Seven of Swords is literally like kind of being sneaky and getting away with something. So I think someone kind of pulled something sneaky on you in the first place, but now they're telling you to be sneaky in turn with your next thing that's coming up here. But like Spirit, specifically, why? You told me they should be sneaky, like, very directly, but why? Like, what's the risk if they don't? Nine of Wands and the Three of Swords. Okay, the risk if you don't, pile 2, after the opportunity presents itself, is a potential for hardship or pain with the Three of Swords regarding your ability to continue doing something. Maybe they'll try to convince you not to do it, but that will just lead to pain here. And then, I also want to ask just, I'm sorry I have like a million questions extra for you, pile 2, but if I were sitting in your seat, this is what I would want to ask live with a tarot reader, right? So, Spirit, can you tell me what is the new opportunity coming their way that they should be kind of hush-hush about, or like the thing that they're doing new that they should be hush-hush about? Because that's really like the unexpected part of this reading is that, but what is the Ace of Wands, the spark of new? Queen of Cups reversed. Interesting, because she came up upright earlier. And the Hangman reversed, as well as the Ten of Swords reversed. What's the new opportunity? It's a new opportunity regarding ending the cycle of pain because of the Ten of Swords reversed. Ending the cycle of betrayal because of the Ten of Swords reversed. That's another interpretation. And it's an opportunity to leave. Because the Hangman reversed can mean like a martyr in some way, pile 2. But in this case, it's like a good martyrdom, like you want to leave the situation, okay? And then the Queen of Cups is interesting, reversed, because usually that means not following your heart. So your heart may want to stay for some reason, pile 2, but they're saying not to follow your heart and follow your mind a little bit more when the new opportunity arises, okay? I'll just tap in intuitively without the cards for a second. What is the opportunity, Spirit, for pile 2? I'm seeing a train for some reason. Like a train moving forward and going somewhere else. It could be something related to moving. I also am hearing the word progress in some way. Like doing something completely new and progress to somewhere else. And someone handing you like a letter. It's very odd. It almost kind of looks like a greeting card or like a Hallmark card, but it's actually like an important letter. Very odd, pile 2. But it's a good thing, okay? But they're telling you to be hush-hush. Oh, sorry, that was my timer. I always keep a timer for the readings just so I kind of keep them to the right amount of time for, not going on too long. But yes, when you get it though, pile 2, keep hush-hush. When you get the letter, when you get the opportunity, they're saying just be quiet about it, okay? Almost sneak out under the veil of night. Okay, it's not often that I hear Spirit tell people to do that, but it's in your best interest not to confront people and to keep things close. Okay, so that's what I'll leave the reading on. Sorry about the alarm once again going off. Kind of shocked me a little bit there, but yeah, I do have that every reading just to make sure that it keeps to the right time. Anyways, little alarm sound besides. I hope that reading helped you in some way. I hope, of course, that you liked it and it resonated with your situation. If so, please like, please comment, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things today after your reading has completed. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful and hush-hush rest of your day or your night, pile 2. And I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading on what you're closer to than you realize. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Ostara Tarot as your deck of choice. Now, we're going to put that right back into said deck, that 3 of Wands. And we're going to first ask with the mini tarot, what areas of your life, or what's the context that this unexpected thing is related to? So speaking of, Spirit, for the highest best good of pile 3 today, could you tell me a bit more about what they're closer to than they realize, what area of life this is related to, etc.? Thank you. Yeah, it's very odd, pile 3. For some reason, I see you peering into like a font or peering into like a basin of water And I don't know why quite yet. First up, we have the Hermit. I wonder if that's why. Looking within in some way. We have another major arcana with the Star reversed. Interesting cards today, pile 3, and I mean that in a positive way for the most part. We have then the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Okay, yep, that is quite aligned with what I was thinking. And then we have the Devil reversed. Okay, quite straightforward. You have pretty much the most straightforward message of all the piles today, pile 3. You're just on the cusp of realizing something and freeing yourself from something that's been bothering you regarding either your family or generational trauma. Very straightforward. As you know, if those of you who watch my videos, you're kind of like, sometimes Lone Pine takes a while to explain all the cards and kind of weave the story together, what they're telling. That's quite straightforward today. Boom. You're on the cusp of realizing something regarding that trauma, regarding your past in general, although the Ten of Pentacles reversed, as I said, tends to be more about family or things inherited down or passed down in some way. It doesn't have to mean your immediate blood family, okay? It can just be maybe like your formative circumstances when you were young or just throughout your life up until this point. It could also be for some of you that this is related to something that was passed down to you, not necessarily from family all the time or always. Like say, I don't know, like sometimes at a job, for one example, like maybe you inherited a role that someone else already had, but like say they retired or they were let go and then you took that on. That can be for some of you, but for the most part, it's going to be family related, okay? Although I will explain the cards as I always do, even though your message was quite straightforward. So we have the element of, yes, family, things passed down that might have been negative, or trauma that was passed down, etc., with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, so I won't explain that one too much more because we already did. And then we have the Star reversed, which tends to mean something that we've lost hope or faith in. We just don't feel a vigor for believing in something anymore. We've kind of lost our direction with it. And then we have the Hermit and the Devil reversed. So the Hermit is something that we go in or within ourselves to realize it's something that we understand independently throughout our own introspection, okay? Some wisdom that we gather out of the metaphorical cave, so to speak, of our mind and the thing that we were kind of searching. And then the Devil reversed is, yes, finally the chains break and we're freed from that, okay? Some of you, it might even be a literal breaking of chains regarding some sort of family or inheritance passed down trauma or issue, okay? But I think a lot of you, because of that Hermit energy, it's more of an internal realization or understanding here that comes about unexpectedly, and it just completely frees you in some way. You're like, okay, here's my life before the realization where things bothered me or I had this problem that I just feel like I couldn't get over, and then here's my life after the realization or this thing that was negative is removed from my life, and it's like, okay, I can breathe. I'm not stuck in this anymore. I can actually move forward and I don't have these problems or this particular issue anymore. Okay, so let's look a little bit more into the details, but yeah, Spirit is quite blunt with your reading today, pile 3. It's a good thing though, right? So Spirit, what else do you want to tell pile 3 about this? Because there might be aspects of it that are more tangible as well. Okay, this one for sure wanted to pop out. It was poking me in the palm. We have the Weasel and the Pine. With introspection, number 9. Well, yes. Okay, so a lot of you, it's something you realize internally, just like that Hermit energy, which is also number 9. Just like your Weasel and Pine. Going within, realizing something alone. Perhaps you have been doing a lot of introspection on family and related things lately, pile 3, hence the meaning of your reading. And then we'll look at your Citadel Oracle as well. What else do you want to say about this, Spirit? Thank you. We have the Patron with the element of air, mentorship, and finances. You know, I wonder for a lot of you, as I said, this could be family, or it could be like a manager passing something down, or someone that was in the role behind you that you took upon the mantle for, that they passed something down. But either way, there's an element of like a mentorship or like money, finances, inheritance passing down too, possibly, because that's another interpretation of the Ten of Pentacles is related to inheritance, literally, because it's like something passing from one generation to the next. And I think it's either the way they taught you something, hence mentorship, or it's the way they taught you how to do something that wasn't necessarily the right thing, or the most healthy thing is maybe a better way to put that. And it might be related to some trauma regarding money as well, like economic class movement, the way that you make money. Maybe it was generational trauma related to like the career choice that you made as well. Like maybe you chose a certain career path and your family didn't necessarily agree with it. And then we have, okay, the Seven of Swords as the clarifier on top of the Four of Swords reversed. Okay, something that was never put to rest, because the Four of Swords reversed is about something that is active. It will not fall asleep. It will not be put to rest, as I said. And the Seven of Swords is often a card of trickery, deceit, someone being sneaky about something. I feel like for a lot of you, this generational trauma or this pain is related to, like, for a while you might have thought it was put to rest, or like you thought it was in the past, but then really deep down, or well, let me rephrase that. You thought it was either like kind of put to rest, or like it never really was because it just was never addressed, almost like an elephant in the room. Like sometimes with families, like there were problems you have when you're younger with your family or things in the past, and it never really gets talked about. As I said, it's like that elephant in that room. Like, oh, well, there's that thing. And, well, we don't really talk about it, but it actually really was kind of a big problem. But it's like no one really ever brings it up. And that's why it's this active Four of Swords reversed energy. It's like no one ever really actually healed from that or realized that was, I mean, maybe they realized pile 3, but they didn't really acknowledge, is probably a better word to use, that was deceptive, that was kind of sneaky. Maybe they also held money over your head, too, with finances and the Seven of Swords. Like, they were like, well, do this and we'll give you money, or do this and we'll give you the inheritance, or same thing, too, it could be like a parent had deceived you in some way, or a sibling, something from, like, earlier generations, maybe even grandparents, too, because they can factor, of course, into Ten of Pentacles energy as well, but it's something along those lines. Okay, let's look at your main tarot spread. And we'll delve more into, like, how this changes, or why do you come to this realization, and or, like, what's the spark, and, of course, after that, what happens as, you know, sequential cause and effect after the realization. So, Spirit, can you tell me more about that for pile 3 today? Thank you. What brings this about? Why? Where is it going? Thank you. We have, as the first position, the Six of Wands, a victory of some sort. Something spurs this on that's related to you winning something, pile 3. You win something, or you get some sort of accolades or like acknowledgement for something. That's usually what the Six of Wands is all about. And then we have the Four of Swords reversed again, just like the sloth before. Four of Swords reversed, this time with a bunny. But getting that thing and securing that victory makes you realize, well, wait a minute. That didn't solve the problem, or that public acknowledgement didn't actually put to rest the problem. I mean, for some of you, it could be that family, like, verbally admitted that something was messed up, or, like, verbally admitted that something was kind of off, but it still didn't really fix it. So there was, like, the victory of, okay, at least it got acknowledged, but at the same time, it wasn't really a victory in the end, because no one ever really apologized for anything, or they never really actually took action to bring about, like, a meaningful conclusion. I'm feeling it's so in your heart you still feel as if, well, that didn't really solve anything. And maybe they even say to you sometimes, well, why are you still worried about that pile 3? Or like, why are you still worrying about that thing? Like, didn't we already bury that hatchet? Or didn't we already fix that issue? Like, why are we talking? Why are we bringing it up again? Because there's something deep in your soul, pile 3, that is lingering on it for a reason. There's a reason you can't let it go. Because it's impeding your progress forward. That's why. That's the Chariot. Okay, that makes sense. Because the Chariot is all about reigning in chaos, reigning in control. Literally, he's holding, like, the reins of a chariot, traditionally speaking, in, like, the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the tarot. But even in this version, he's holding reins, and there's 2 of the horse. I guess, I don't know chess very well, so forgive me. Anyone that knows chess, correct me if I'm wrong. I think those are knights in tarot. Or sorry, in chess with the horse pieces, but I don't know. Anyone that knows chess, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're knights. And it's like you can't make progress. There's something, it's holding you back in some way. I wonder if a lot of you too, it creates like a restlessness inside you. Maybe you deal with like anxiety, or you deal with insomnia a lot regarding thoughts related to this thing, and that's why it's like hard for you to technically like put it in the past, because it was never healed, and so therefore how are you supposed to make progress? I mean, it's like I'm seeing you, pile 3, you walking along with like a wound in your leg. And you're limping along with this wound in your leg. And even though someone said to you, well, yeah, I know I hurt your leg, and I, say I cut it or something or whatever, whoever, did the injury to you, metaphorically speaking, like they acknowledge that the wound is there, but then they just kind of looked at it and then they didn't even hand you any bandages to heal it. So you're limping along and they keep looking at you like, well, why are you limping? Didn't we fix this? But they didn't actually fix it, pile 3, because they didn't actually heal the problem. They didn't help you heal it, okay? And that's why it's impeding your progress forward, because there's still something holding you down from it. But you're on the cusp of healing from it, I feel like, pile 3. Because you realize something about the progress, too, that you have made despite this issue. Let's keep going. And then we have the 6 of Cups reversed. Yep, negative influences from the past. Yeah, this screams family all over. For most of you. This is just this family reading, okay? Because of that 6 of Cups is usually about our childhood, especially reversed, pile 3. It's often a card of like negative influences from childhood. You're going on a journey, and it might be kind of painful, pile 3, but oftentimes when it's painful, when we do introspective journeys like this to heal from things, that's exactly what causes the healing, is first acknowledging that the limp and the pain is there. Not just ignoring it like I feel like other people in your life have. I feel like they just look at it and they're like, well, why are you limping? Why is that problem still there? And you're like, well, duh, because it's still there because nobody healed it. But like the problem is, I guess people do that because they don't want to acknowledge their role in having created the wound, right? They do that because, they don't want to feel like a bad person, even though maybe they did something that wasn't so nice, right? So you're going through a process unexpectedly of making this progress, with realizing the extent of negative influences from early formative years and childhood, okay? But it's releasing you, hence the Devil reversed earlier. It's a freeing in some way. Because sometimes breaking the chains of our past can be painful, because sometimes we convince ourselves, or other people convince us too, that it's okay to stay in those chains and in that box. So really, it's convincing ourselves that there's worth or merit in opening the cage. But you're going to do it, pile 3. You're going to realize it. And then we come to the Hierophant reversed. You break the cycle. That's what it is, okay? Because the Hierophant reversed is often a card of letting go of the way things have always been done. It's a card of letting go of tradition, breaking tradition in ways as well. You're the one that cuts the generational trauma cycle from stopping it from going. You stop it dead in its tracks, okay? So, interesting. It's a healing process, I guess, if I had to summarize here, pile 3, that you're going through unexpectedly soon, or like a lot of you actually, it's not necessarily an unexpected element. Some of you, it could actually be that you've already been working through this. Like you already kind of know, like, oh yeah, I've been kind of already mentally going through this, or maybe you've even visited a therapist to kind of talk it through and work through a lot of this healing, which good for you. Pat yourself on the back for that, pile 3, because, revisiting our trauma and revisiting things that have happened in the past is not easy, especially because life is already hard enough as it is, just living day to day and surviving, all that. But at the same time, so much of our day-to-day life can be improved when we do heal those wounds from the past. So just pat yourself on the back for what you've been through, or the way that you've endured, I guess I should say, and pat yourself on the back for the process of healing that you've been willing to undergo or are about to, right? So yeah, it's like, for those of you that have already been working through it, you're just on the cusp of the turn of the bend around the full healing process. You're almost there to where you finally find the panacea for that wound, okay? I will ask just one last question for you today. I'm going to ask, what is the panacea, and or how do you find it? So, Spirit, can you tell me that? What's the panacea and how do they find it? Also, you break its control over your life. That's another meaning of the Hierophant reverse. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, a lot of you, it actually might be related to your mother. Because number one, you have the Black Widow with the Seven of Swords. I forgot to mention that earlier. Oftentimes the Black Widow is kind of seen as, like a negative feminine figure, because I think this is really kind of morbid, but, it's a nature-themed tarot channel. We'll talk about it. It's an animal. I think, if I am not incorrect, Black Widows tend to eat their mates after they're done with them. I think that's what they do. That's why they're called the Black Widow, I'm pretty sure. At least if it's not the full truth, it's one of the folklore around them. And then you got the Empress reversed, which is like negative mother energy. Okay, so we have the Black Widow, we have the mother energy. Let's keep going with the cards. Then we have the Page of Swords. It's through the process of learning, relearning things. And the Page of Cups reversed is understanding the way that our heart and our emotions were treated in our youth. Maybe when you were young, you were taught to stifle a lot of your emotions. Maybe your family, the way that you were raised, pile 3, was more about thinking more about like the logical organization of things, or thinking about things in more cold, rational ways rather than in heartfelt, emotional ways. I do see that because of the Page of Swords upright being like, yes, mental energy was accepted, but Page of Cups reversed is like, emotional energy was kind of stuffed down, right? Don't show your feelings, don't cry, or whatever. Things like that are similar. Yes, so to answer the question of how you come to this realization, though, and what does it change? It's something, yes, I think you realize for a lot of you about your mother, and the way that you were nurtured, and the way that you nurture yourself in turn, the way that she taught you to nurture, or, well, for some of you, a lot of you might be the way that she taught you a lack of nurturing yourself, okay, hence the Empress reversed, okay? And then you're doing a lot of learning. You're doing a lot of exploring mentally with the Page of Swords, and then realizing what you did not explore emotionally with the Page of Cups reversed. But when you get there, you're not going to be surprised, because it's like everything finally locks into place, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Because the Page of Cups reversed, I sometimes interpret too as it means something is not a shock to us. It's not a surprise, because upright traditionally it can mean a surprise of some sort. So just be, well, let me tap in for 1 second. I'll ask intuitively here from Spirit if there's any like final message on this for you, pile 3. So they're saying healing of the heart, which makes sense. Filling your own cup again, which once again makes me think of maybe you tend towards a lack of self-care. Usually because filling your cup means to take place or partake in self-care, right? And they're also saying it's something about a red book. It's like a red leather journal book. I don't know, maybe your mother kept a red journal in some way. And if so, if you have access to that reading, that might help you. But they're saying it's also like revisiting a chapter in your life. But there might be something for a lot of you I'm hearing too about like a journal or diary that you're meant to read. And that might be the real key that unlocks the door of like the healing that you're closer to than you realize. It's like giving you a little bit of a speed boost of healing when you read what's in that journal or that diary. Okay? So keep that in mind. That's all they're showing me here at the end for you, pile 3. But yes, just to summarize, you're closer to healing than you think and processing all of this. And then once you get to that point, boom, you'll find a lot more progress in life than you had before. Not because it was your own fault in the past, pile 3, with the lack of progress. I mean, a lot of healing takes people years, decades even. It's very normal, just part of the human experience to heal. But you will find things go a lot more smoothly afterwards. So take time to heal, take time to introspect, and don't be afraid to break chains that might have been put upon your heart and your mind years ago. So that was your reading today on well, as the title says, what's closer than you think. I hope, number one, it helped you, that it resonated with your situation, that you liked the video/reading as well. If so, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and thank you so much if you choose to do those things today at the end of your reading. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 3, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye.